All right, guys, it's time. It's time for the long-awaited, hardest thing most of us can do throughout the year, and that is try to predict MPL-PH playoffs. Now, if you're wondering why I'm all the way to the left of the camera right now, that's because, of course, as every MPL-PH playoffs prediction video goes, there has to be a bracket. Unless you're Leo and you're standing. I almost did a standing video because Leo almost inspired me. Shout out to Leo. It was a good prediction video. Same thing with Naisu. Not going to talk about that video, but okay, here we are. Here we are. We got about 24 hours, 12 hours, something, about 14 hours until MPL-PH playoffs starts. We are going to be watching that tonight. Feel free to come tune in and watch with me. We're in for a pretty heated discussion on this. I think a lot of people are all over the place with how this bracket is going to end, as per usual. And I think the fan base of a lot of Filipinos teams is always very vocal about how bad the other teams are, how good the other teams are. We've been able to at least keep tabs with MPL-PH. We've watched some games throughout the season, not as much as I would normally have. Normally, I stay very in tune with MPL-PH. This season, there's just been a lot going on in life, so I haven't been able to keep up. But let me not bog you down with all that type of information. Let's just jump right in. Day one, match one, Onyx-PH up against Twisted Minds. Now, in the very beginning of the season, Twisted Minds, I called it. You can go back and watch some videos. I was watching some of their first games live, and I said, I got a feeling Twisted Minds is going to make it to playoffs. Did I think they're going to win playoffs? No, but I had a feeling they were going to be able to make it to playoffs. Coach Bonchan was cooking things up. He was doing his thing, forcing teams to ban out the Alice by playing it repetitively and eventually winning with it. And this opens up things for other picks. Now, Coach Bonchan, knowing him, he's a champion, man. He is. Now, this team does have some hitters on it, but is it enough to take down Onyx? I don't know, man. Onyx had a rough start to their season, but they came in swinging, taking out teams like TLPH towards the end of season, taking out teams like Rora. I mean, just all over the place. Really got into their groove, built a lot of momentum as the season ended. Twisted Minds also built some momentum. Were able to beat out the other bottom two teams, actually the only two teams that they were able to win against. So, I mean, there's a lot of adversity in the face of Twisted Minds right now. Do I think they can win this? No. Sadly, I do have to give this one over to Onyx-PH. I think Twisted Minds might be able to win a game. This is a best of 5. This is a best of 5. Double check real fast. This is a best of 5, so it's pretty exciting. I think Twisted Minds can at least win a game. Maybe they bring it the distance. It is Coach Bonchan. That's all I'm saying. But can the players perform with what he gives them? He said he's got something cooking for playoffs, but I think in all reality, oh man, there's something in my gut that says Twisted Minds could maybe win this series, and I'm going to feel so bad if they do and I didn't vote for them. But in all logical reasoning, the number 3 seed, possible grand finalist, you got to give it over to Onyx 3-1, maybe 3-2. Maybe it goes the distance. After that, match 2 happening tonight, Falcon versus TNC. Now, number 4 versus number 5 slot. Falcon's just been a solid team overall. I mean, yes, this has probably been one of their more poor seasons over the past couple seasons. They get to playoffs in the number 4 slot. There definitely seems to be some pains going on, some issues. TNC, on the other hand, is having one of the best seasons they've had in a while. They pick up Benny Cutie, they pick up Yawi, they get some groove going. They're able to really thrive off some aggressiveness. I think with Benny Cutie and Yawi already having some synergy, there's a lot of possibilities there. But will it match up against the synergy of Falcon? Super Marco versus Benny. Super Marco has been trumping over the past year or so, you know, the untouchable, the bulletproof. It's a tough match for TNC overall. And even though Falcons had a rough time, I still think they have a lot of possibilities, even in this bracket down the line after they're able to beat TNC. Yeah, you heard it right. I think they're going to win out in this match against TNC. We can maybe say, 3-1. 3-1 maybe goes the distance as well. I'm hoping all these matches go the distance, but that is going to be my prediction for day 1. Day 2, match 3, match 4, Rora up against Onyx. Now, this is probably one of the most debated matches. I think most people are putting Onyx as the winner here. Onyx just has that. They've got that sparkle, right? They've got that ability to be extremely disciplined, but also hyper aggressive. They know how to snowball it. They know how to push the limits, but they also know how to pull back to whereas people are describing Rora as more of a systematic by the book team. And this is how Aurora is able to beat so many teams, aim for objectives. Even as long as they don't let the lead get too far ahead of them, they can always win out in first, second, Lord. They can push games to the distance. They can keep it simple. And sometimes simplicity wins the games. Onyx, on the other hand, I think sometimes they're willing to pick a pick that's maybe a little bit outside of your norms regularly, right? I forget where it was. We saw them win their first game against, let me look it up real fast. So they actually beat Team Liquid PH with a Kufra in game one, which I think works against the Hayabusa, works against the Cho. You know, they're willing to always kind of push the limits a little bit, is all I'm saying, and do something that, yes, on paper it works, but a lot of people say it's maybe a dangerous pick. But they make it work. Do I think it's going to be able to beat Aurora? Do I think like the team that's willing to push the boundaries is going to beat the by the book team? And I think that's what makes this match so interesting, is you have two different schools of knowledge in MLBB kind of clashing. Here's the thing. I'm going to go against what I think most casters have said. I'm actually going to give this one to Rora. I think Rora, their by the book work is working for them right now. Their ability to hunker down. It's a best of 5. I think Aurora really wants this. I think last season when they won, I was really counting them out. I doubted them. I didn't think they were going to make it to grand finals. I think as long as Domain can step up here, as long as Rennie J doesn't get too crazy, doesn't go too deep, doesn't, bite off more than he can chew, Aurora can definitely pull this off. And for that, I do think Onyx is possibly the favor here, but I want to give this match to Aurora. 3-2, full distance, going the long haul. After that is TLPH up against Falcons. Come on, guys. No bias at all. No bias at all. I think TLPH is in their final form right now. They are doing their thing. They are just picking up Oheb was a great move for them. I think he's thriving right now. I think a lot of people, if you weren't a Blacklist fan back in the day, a lot of people always said that. Maybe not a lot of people, but I've heard people say that Oheb was maybe not the kind of fell off. Maybe the weak link, maybe was overhyped, etc. I've always been a big Oheb fan. I've always felt like same thing with Edward, same thing with a lot. I mean, that the whole ex-Blacklist team, all of them have places to shine. And I think Oheb right now has found that place. I think he's with a nicely aggressive team, a team with a almost, I would say, kind of similar play style to Onyx, willing to be aggressive. I think TLPH might even be a bit more aggressive at times. The Liquid Stampede, the Liquid Express, whatever you want to call it, it's here, it's in full form, and it is playing well. And I don't think Falcon stands a chance against it right now. I do think Falcon's going to lose out in this match. I think Falcon just isn't. They're not doing it. And also, time tells that a lot of players in TLPH just seem to get the better of Falcons sometimes. We've seen it before in playoffs. We've seen them be able to do it. I think TLPH has their kryptonites in the MPLPH. I don't think Falcon is them. I think TLPH wins this 3-1. I almost want to say sweep, but that's my bias speaking. I think TLPH wins this 3-1. Maybe it goes a distance. I mean, anytime we see Falcon and TLPH really go at it, it's always a banger, honestly. Like, it is always a banger. After that, we could jump down to the upper bracket semifinals. Upper bracket grand. I don't know what you really call that. Match 5. It's going to be Aurora versus TLPH. Now, a lot of me was saying that Aurora has TLPH's. They've got their book read, man. They've got their card checked. They know their hands. And that would have been it last season. And Aurora has seemed to consistently be the kryptonite to TLPH, but this season, season 15, TLPH is not having none of that. We saw it in week 8. TLPH versus Roar, game number 1. It felt like a grand finals match 7 game. The game went like 23 minutes. Let me check the time on it real fast. It was insanity. The game went 26 minutes. And it was back and forth down the line. So whatever ends up happening in the series, I can guarantee it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a monster of a series. Even if it ends up being a sweep by either team, I think all the matches are going to be amazing. But here's the thing. TLPH is not losing this match, I don't think. I think they're going to be able to pull through. I think Aurora can take a series. I think maybe they can take 2. Maybe it goes the full distance. But I think there's also a big chance that it could be a sweep. I think Aurora can come close, but for some reason, TLPH, even in the darkest of times in a match, they're able to pull their pieces together and come out on top and push the limits. Even at 26 minutes, even at 25 minutes, when it's back and forth, they can win a game. And I think they can stick by the book, but I think that's where Aurora is going to cut short here. I think that they are going to, instead of taking some of those risks for the big reward, they're going to stick too close to the book and maybe lose out. And that's what's going to give TLPH the first slot in the grand finals, the first MPLPH slot in MSC. Yeah. Down to the lower bracket now, it's going to be Onyx PH versus Falcons. Now, Onyx at this point licking their wounds, still looking for that grand final slot. I think Falcons at this point have met their match. They're not going to be able to go any farther in this. Onyx PH is going to be able to take the dub. Maybe even 3-0. I think Onyx at this point, they're hungry. They're still hitting momentum, even though they take the loss to Aurora. They're feeling good about themselves. They take the win 3-0 here. They go on to meet Aurora in the lower bracket finals. Now, the interesting thing about this is going to be a best of 7. A best of 7. And a lot of times I would say that a by the book team has good odds in a best of 7, right? You have a lot of time to, hone things down. But also you could say that Onyx has a lot of times to expose those cracks in the armor, and with the inability to switch things up, Aurora might have trouble in a best of 7. Maybe Aurora wins game 1. Maybe they win game 2. But once Onyx finds those couple things to tweak, Aurora might just be out of ability to change things up. And Onyx being able to see Aurora go up against TLPH in the upper bracket, being able to play them already once, I think by this time, Onyx will have the answers and be able to win this. I think Aurora might win game 1 or game 2, but I think by the end, if Onyx wins game 1 or game 2, it could end up being a sweep. If Onyx comes into that swinging, just completely dominating, I don't want to say sweep because Onyx has a tendency sometimes to throw one out there, just to kind of mess things up. But we saw it in week 5, Onyx versus Aurora. Aurora was able to take game 1, and then Onyx tweaks a few things, come out, wins the game in 11.5 minutes, wins the last game in 15.5 minutes. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Onyx will end up winning this match. We could make it 4-2, maybe even 4-3. I hope it's a banger. I hope it's a one-day series. We get to focus the whole day just watching this match. So I'm excited for it, whichever way it goes. But I think Onyx will secure the second slot in MSC and go on to face TLPH in the grand finals, which at that point, this is a match I think a lot of us are waiting for. Match of Titans, right? Onyx up against TLPH. And I think they can do it. I think by they, I mean my boys. No bias at all. I know it's still the Echo jacket. TLPH, if you want to shoot me a new jacket, feel free to. That's not why I'm voting for you here, though. But I think TLPH, this is their season. I said in the beginning of the season, hashtag it's 40 season. Sanford's been playing great. Carl Teasy's been playing great. The whole team, Oheb, has found a place that he can really just prime through. Oheb versus Kelra will be insane. Kelra might be able to win out. I don't know. There's so many ways to look at this. It's such a hard match to predict if this ends up being the final match. Best of 7. I want to give it to TLPH, though, and I'm hoping it goes 4-3 the full distance. We'll see. Honestly, TLPH, when they were Echo and as TLPH, in a lot of grand finals in MPL, it's sweeps. Either they get swept or they do the sweeping, but I would love to see a game go the whole way with them against another team, especially MPL PH grand finals. Let's see it. Let's make it happen. But there's the predictions. Like I said, only a little bit longer till playoff starts. We'll be streaming it tonight. Tune in. See you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah.